everybody, welcome back to Chiquel's YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and I am here today to talk about one of my all-time favorite wigs in the world. And I, of course, am talking about the wig that's on my head right now, which is Drive by Ellen Wille. I just adore this wig so much, so I can't wait to share all there is to know about Drive. You know, I have tried Drive in many different colors, so I've put it on my head many different times. And the one thing that I have found consistent across the board amongst all of them is the softness of the fibers. These are made with Ellen Wille's heat-defiant fibers, and they are so smooth and so soft. I wish I could just come through the screen and let you feel them. But take my word for it, they are just so smooth. So as I just mentioned, this is made with heat-defiant fibers. So if you'd like, of course, you could curl this. I do have a video that I just posted earlier this week, and it's about how to curl your heat-defiant fibers. So go ahead and take a look at that, and you can definitely apply that technique to this wig here. Or, of course, keep it straight. Now, I always make a disclaimer about HD fibers or heat-defiant fibers in any video that I talk about them in. So if there's anything to know about HD fibers, it's that they get tangly, they get frizzy, they get clumpy pretty quickly. And Drive, unfortunately, is no exception. I find that Drive can get pretty tangly easily, and aside from the fact that it is made with HD fibers, which is a large factor in that, I also find that styles that don't have a lot of layering in them, that are mostly just one general length, I find that they get tangled more easily. And of course, when wigs get tangly, we have a tendency to brush them or comb them through a little bit more often. And the more we comb them and touch them, then the more frizzy the ends are gonna get. So you will notice that Drive is gonna tangle and she's gonna get frizzy. But the way to get rid of this is with heat. Heat-friendly fibers or heat-defiant fibers love heat, hence their name, heat-friendly. My favorite heating tool to use on a straight HD fiber wig is definitely a, what is this called? This is called a blow dryer brush or a hot air brush, but this is one of my very favorites. These come in all sorts of different brands. Honestly, they all work just fine. Mine, I just don't like spending a lot of money on things. So mine is just from Amazon. It's a good old Amazon one and it has served me well. But the reason I love these on your straight HD fiber wigs is because, first of all, the heat in it is going to take out any of the frizzies right away. So as soon as you apply heat, the frizzies are gonna go, which is fantastic. But also the reason I love these as opposed to a hair straightener, for example. I do love hair straighteners and I will use them, but I love these on the longer straight ones because they allow me to more easily mold the style a little bit more. See how this curves in a little bit? This helps me keep that a little bit more easily as opposed to making it poker straight. So this just helps me be able to style it a little bit more easily. I recommend using heat on your HD fiber wigs quite often because they are going to get frizzy pretty quickly. You're going to want to combat that as soon as you can so you don't have a ratty frizzy looking wig too soon. So at the first signs of frizziness, go ahead and take this out or take a hair straightener out, whatever you feel comfortable with, and just go through your fibers. It takes just 2 minutes to do and you're going to be left with a brand new feeling wig. Now, of course, throughout the day, you're not necessarily going to have heat to help you with any of the tangles or any of the clumpiness that you might find. So what I would suggest you do, it's a little bit annoying, but carry around a wide tooth comb. And with your wide tooth comb, ever so often, you're just going to comb through. And you're going to comb through before it gets too tangly. You're going to want to stay on top of the tangles and on top of any matting that could happen. So ever so often, give it a little comb through if you can, just to stay on top of things. All right, I started off with one of the negatives about this piece. However, that negative thing about this does not keep me from loving this wig. I honestly feel like this is probably my favorite everyday style wig. It is just such an easy piece to throw on and go because of its simplicity of the style. And it's also not a piece that is too overdone. It's clearly just a long bob with nothing fancy going on. I don't feel like there's too much poofiness going on. I don't feel like it's overstyled. It's just a very simple look that can do well with sweatpants and a hoodie, or it could do well if you dress it up a little bit. Now, to speak more about this hair and this style, we have a very low density piece going on here. Now, when I say density, I'm referring to the amount of hair, or I guess in this case, the amount of fibers that are on the cap. So this is a low density, meaning there's really not a ton of hair. And there's really great things about this. In my opinion, the best thing about low density wigs is I feel that they look the most natural, especially for someone who has been experiencing hair loss. As someone who has experienced hair loss, I'm not used to having a ton of hair on my head. So if I were to put a wig on with too much density in it, that's gonna make me feel unnatural and like I'm wearing a wig. And I'm gonna feel like all eyes are on me, even though they're probably not. But I'm just gonna feel like everyone's looking at me because I have so much hair on my head and it doesn't belong. Low density wigs for people who have experienced hair loss just seem like a much better option. The one downfall of low density wigs, however, is that sometimes because there isn't a ton of hair, you might be able to see through the hair into the wefting. However, in this case, I really haven't found that to be too much of a problem. I feel like there's just enough hair to cover the wefts in all the right places. All right, let's talk about the cap we have going on here. So you're gonna find an extended lace front. So when I say extended, that means that the lace on the front is going to go all the way to about mid ear tab. So the ear tab starts around, I'll just show you. Ear tab starts up here, but the lace is going to come about midway. You can see right here where it stops. So it's an extended lace front all the way, of course, to the other side. And this, in my opinion, is a really well done lace front. One thing I have found though is a little bit of inconsistency in the density at the hairline. I have had some drive wigs where the density is a little bit thicker, so a little bit more hair at the hairline, which makes it pulling off your face not quite as seamless and beautiful. I've only experienced that a couple of times though, and I've tried many different drives. So with these lace fronts, it of course gives you that ease of styling it off your face. You can definitely pull this back into a different style, like a half up, half down, and it's gonna give you the illusion of it growing from your scalp. Now, sometimes I still appreciate pulling a few hairs in front just to disguise the hairline even more. Even though there is a lace front there, I still like disguising it a little bit more. On drive, we also have the monofilament center part. So I'll give you a peek here. Now, when I say a monofilament center part, that means that in about 1 inch section here, you're gonna find a lace-like material where all of the fibers in that section are hand tied onto that lace-like material. That's gonna give you the illusion of hair growth from your scalp, and it's gonna allow you to change the part within that section. So it's not a very big section. You're gonna be left with pretty much just a center part option as opposed to a far left or a far right part. One thing you could do, however, is if you don't love center parts, you could pull it as much to the side as you could. And then you could adjust your cap just a little bit slightly, and then you could be left with a slight left part or a slight right part. Now you'll notice that this hair is starting to fall in front of my face after I change the part there. And that's just because with synthetic fibers, or heat-defiant synthetic fibers in this case, they need to be trained if you're gonna move them. So this piece is used to having this center part. These fibers are trained to be in this part here, which I can't find again. There we go. These fibers are trained to be at the center part. That's what they're used to. So if you decide to move them, they're gonna be like, no, take me back home. Take me back to my center part. And they're gonna want to try to go back to what they used to be. So in order to train your fibers, all you need to do is add a little bit of heat on them and they will stay put. All right, let's go ahead and take this off so I can show you the inner workings of this magical piece. So here's that extended temple to temple lace front here. And the great thing about this is that it goes seamlessly into your monofilament middle part. So there's not going to be a seam here. It just is one big lace material. And what's great about that is that sometimes if you do have a seam here, which is very common if this were a full monofilament top, but sometimes if you do have a seam here, you're going to be able to see it a little bit through that lace on top. And that kind of bothers some people. But like I said, this is seamless. It just goes right into your monofilament middle part here. So this is all of the section or all of the space that you have to play with for your part line. So if you are a deep left or a deep right parted person, then drive might not be the best option for you. All right, in this section here and here, this is wefting. It's closed wefting. So when I say closed, I mean that there's material over top of it. You can't stick your fingers through, but it's sewn into rows. So this part is all machine sewn. However, there really isn't any permatease on those wefts. All right, the rest of the cap is machine wefted or open wefted. So that means you can stick your fingers through. It's really stretchable, well ventilated, breathable, a great option for warmer climates or if you like to be active or if you get really hot. And then we have our velvet ear tabs, which are really comfortable. They have the metal stays in them, and the point of the metal stays is that it helps keep the wig flush against your head, so you don't need to use any glue or adhesives to help keep it down. It just stays beautifully right where it needs to. We're also going to have an extended velvet nape as well as your Velcro adjusting straps that allow you to loosen or tighten this as you wish. All right, now let's talk about the fit of this wig. So often Ellen Wille is known to make caps that are a little bit smaller than your average size. However, this one in particular, I don't find to be quite as small as some of the other Ellen Wille caps that I've tried. This is probably, in my opinion, pretty true to average, maybe just a tiny bit smaller, but it's pretty true to average. I personally have a petite size head measuring 20.5 in circumference, 11.5 from front to nape, and 11.5 ear to ear. My ear tabs sit in a really good spot. Let me show you. Just resting right above my ear crease, not imposing on it, but right above my ear crease, which is a nice spot to be in. There is a little bit of looseness in the cap for me, and I could definitely bring in the adjusting straps, probably about an inch to make it feel a little bit more secure. So if you are a petite or a petite average head size, this could work for you. I am, and I would wear this regardless just because I love this wig so much, but just know that you might feel a little bit of extra bulkiness back here if you have similar measurement to me. This will fit you great if you are an average size. If you are a little bit bigger than average though, it could work for you. It might be a little bit snug. If you're a large, I would definitely not recommend this wig for you. So I'm wearing this in the color Pearl Blonde Rooted. This is going to be a mixture of colors 101, 24, and 20. So that's going to be sort of a pearl platinum blonde in here that we see very clearly. I'll pull some out, some of this. This is your, where'd it go? This is like your pearl platinum here. It's also going to be a darker ash blonde within here, kind of this section here. And it's also going to have a little bit of honey blonde, just nicely highlighted throughout. So there is going to be a bit of dimension in here, especially with this medium brown rooting that I find is really nicely blended into the rest of the wig. If you are someone who really loves those neutral to ash or neutral to cool tones, especially like Raquel Welch's Shaded Biscuit, like I have here, you're gonna love the Pearl Blonde Rooted. So this is Shaded Biscuit. It's a very similar color. I would say Pearl Blonde Rooted is a little bit cooler than Shaded Biscuit. So you guys, if you are looking for that effortless look that makes it seem like you did not try very hard, yet you look put together, then this wig is perfect for that. Other than the potential to tangle pretty easily on this, but knowing that that's kind of what comes with HD fibers in general, as well as wigs that don't have a lot of layering. Aside from all of that, this wig in my eyes is just so perfect. I would own this in every color if I could. I hope that this helps you guys out a little bit in your wig journey. I know that getting to know wigs and alternative hair is a little bit overwhelming. So if you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to me and I'm happy to help you. Just know that this wig, along with many others, of course, are available on our website at chiquel.com, chiquel.ca, or chiquel.com.au. So go ahead and take a look at the site and see if you can find anything. As always, I'm so glad you guys stuck around to watch, and I'll see you next time. Bye.